Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to another 3v3 fastest map on StarCraft Brood Wars Remastered. We're going to go ahead and jump into a rather substantial game here. This is replay number 127. We have got 5 Protoss and 1 Zerg. In our last game we saw how much a Zerg can make a difference. So, 26-minute game, so it's a little bit substantial. So, like I said, we'll go ahead and jump in and see what we've got. Alright, we'll speed things up to start as we look at what's going on. Alright, let's look at team number 1. In the top left corner, we've got the white Protoss Dab. Then all the way in the bottom left corner, we've got El Vicho, the blue Protoss. And then in the middle left, we've got the red Protoss, John Redcorn 1129. Alright, so we see Protoss on this team, and we're all next to each other, so that means they're all next to each other as well. Let's check out team number 2. In the bottom right corner, we've got JKAK, the brown Protoss. Then, let's look at it last. In the top right corner, we've got FARV, Farv, the yellow Protoss, getting a bunch of gateways up early with his forge. And then over here in the middle right, we've got Falcon, excuse me, the orange Zerg. So let's see if this Zerg makes the difference. We'll go ahead and check him out to start the game. As we check out the APM, looking at the APM again, a rather low APM game. We see Dab, the white Protoss up in the left corner, is at about 80, maybe flirting with, oh, actually more like flirting with just 80. Everyone else, right around 60, between 40 and 60. El Vicho looking a little bit fast as well. So that might be one of the reasons why this game is a little slower. A little less action early on from these guys. So we'll go ahead and check out what everyone's doing. We see sort of a start of gateways here early on. Not a forge in sight. Down here, we've got blue. He's got gateways. Oh, he's got an early cybernetics core, which is interesting. All right, here comes red. Ooh, so we've got red putting some pressure on orange. Orange does not have those sunken colonies up yet. And we took out the spawning pool. So huge early pressure by red on orange. That's what you want to do against a Zerg. If you see that you got a Zerg on your team, especially if there's only one, like, really, like, go after them. Like, put some pressure on them because it really makes a big difference. You don't want them to get strong. Alright, so he's slowly and steadily pulling units off, or trying to pull units off of the hatcheries. He's got no drones, and he just leaves the game. Nothing that he could have done. It was just a little bit too much of a rush there. Good job by John Redcorn, the red player. He's redcorning out. Anywho, as we see, blue over here is getting a chance to macro up now. Not quite sure where he's going. Now we've got a cybernetics core here and Citadel on its way. Got a cybernetics core coming in up here. I'm not quite sure what white's doing because he seems to be a step behind everyone else. Alright, so that makes it a 2v1 Protoss versus Protoss versus Protoss versus Protoss versus Protoss versus Protoss. So, should be interesting to see how these guys are able to hold. We see yellow. Good amount of gateways, and he's looking like he's getting ready to macro up. This guy's got the 2 nexuses. Good coverage here. He looks like he's getting more. All his tech is over here. He looks like he might be getting ready to do some drops. Alright, but let's go ahead and check out the 6-minute mark. Let's look at the upgrades. You see Brown's getting the Zealot movement and Dragoon speed. Red getting ground weapons early. Dragoon speed almost done, or Zealot speed almost done for blue. And that's all we're seeing right now. Alright, so we're saying let's go ahead and attack bottom right. I think that would be a pretty good attack right now. White saying sure. I think just with the zealots we have, we should be able to destroy this. But a 26-minute game, I'm surprised that this is not going to be over in a heartbeat. Alright, so White's sending all his units to Brown. Blue doesn't really have anything yet because he's just been macroing up. So it's going to be red and white zealots on the way to kill Brown. Brown getting tons of, just put in a ton for his upgrades. So he's getting ready to get going. He might have just enough units here coming out that he might be able to hold, but this is still going to be really, really tough. Alright, so here is the battle. Look at all those zealots just walking in. Now the dragoons are sitting there untouched because the zealots are sort of creating a wall, making it hard for them to get on top of the dragoons. But finally they break through the zealots. Now the dragoons are in lots and lots of trouble. Oh, he's getting Dark Templar. That's genius. Alright, so that's probably why he thinks that he's going to be able to do that. This is how he's going to be able to hold, by having the Dark Templar come in. But even with the Dark Templar, this is a lot of Dark Templar. It's the thing that's really scary. Alright, here comes Yellow to help with this. So that is probably how this is going to get cleaned up. Alright, here comes Dark Templar from Blue, but there's a lot of cannons here. So it's going to be kind of like a moot battle. So what we really need is some observers to come in. Alright, the Dark Templar are trying to come around, but there's plenty to stop them. This is just so many Dark Templar now. Alright, so definitely a reset here as we try to get up something to stop that. I can't believe I'm not even getting a robotics facility yet. Building cannons. Alright, so Yellow and Brown are now safe here. I mean, he's got 1,000 Dark Templar. That's so crazy. In the meantime, Blue does get an observer out, and he's still not building units. I don't understand. This guy's got quite an infrastructure. He's getting... I think he had upgrades coming in, but he just has no units. Plenty of... Like, when is he going to start building? Alright, finally he's building. Alright, here comes building from me. Yeah, so a little bit of stalling in the builds to try to get ready for the possibility of these Dark Templar coming in. Alright, here they come. Possibly in on White. Now, White could get absolutely destroyed by this. He doesn't have nearly enough to protect himself in case they do come in. Neither do I. And here they come, walking right through the zealots. Oh man, this is going to be bad, bad news. Luckily, he has a ton of robotics facilities coming in, and he does have enough to protect his nexus here. But again, not that many. There's just so many of them. They're trying to get in on these cannons, and they're going to do it. These are coming up, but they're not going to come up in time. Alright, Yellow following him. Alright, so here we come to try to help him, but we need... Oh, we need observers so bad. This guy's got them now, too. I think we're all working on them. I think he has them at this point. We're going to take out the Nexus, though. Oh, man, what a play. What a play by Brown. Alright, so with Brown, with Blues, Dragoons, Reds, Zealots, here comes a bunch of observers for Yellow. Oh wait, those are White's observers. Alright, so it looks like we finally sort of held that off. White's going to have a really long time to rebuild here. Alright, now I'm finally getting sort of enough cannons that I'm feeling a little bit better about my situation. Alright, looks like there's still a few hanging around over here. Alright, and they're finally taken out. White needs to get to work rebuilding. He has enough. Meantime, I counter to yellow. This is probably not going to be all that successful. But took out some of his cannons. Put him on notice. Alright, so in the meantime, try to get observers out. Here comes Brown on blue. Brown's got quite a few units, and he's got 1-1s. Blue's not really clocking into this, and he's just going right for yellow. Alright, so a lot of zealots coming in here. So once these dragoons go down, zealots are going to come streaming in. That's not going to be good for yellow at all. In the meantime, blue just sort of allowed Brown to waltz in on him. Alright, here are the zealots. They're all at 1-1s. We should start really smacking these dragoons. The cannons are here. They're doing a lot of damage too. He's getting more cannons. Alright, in the meantime, Brown... Oh man, Brown is just going to town on blue. It's taking so much capital to go after yellow. Meantime, white just now getting the nexus up. I don't know what he's been doing this whole time. He is just sort of shell-shocked from being destroyed by all those Dark Templar. Alright, so we're sort of pushed in on red, or I mean on yellow. Blue is going to try to survive with cannons. Brown's just putting all, or I guess Blue put all of his eggs in this basket of this assault. And it doesn't even look like it's going to actually finish him off. Here comes Brown with some Dark Templar. Alright, I'm sending some units in to try to help Blue. Alright, so these Dragoons now are at 2-2s. But these Zealots have 2 attack. There's just so many of them. Just continuing to stream Zealots in to try to help. He's got cannons. I think the fact that these cannons are getting built will really sort of seal the deal. But here's more Dragoons. He's really committing a lot to this. Alright, still getting attacked. White is just like a shell of himself now. I don't even know if he's getting units or not. We'll see what White ends up doing. Alright, Brown continuing to assault. Blue's got a lot of cannons over here. Those are going to be hard to break. And I'm coming in trying to take everything out. Blue's got some Dark Templar. Dark Templar have been the difference in this game. Alright, so Blue slowly and steadily clearing out these last little bit of guys. Here comes more. Again, there's so many cannons, but he's not being able to build any kind of gateways. This is just me streaming units over and over and over again. White just... I don't know what White's doing. What's he trying to do? Alright, anyways. Brown continues sending Dragoons after Dragoons after Dragoons. It's just a little too much. He's a little bit better upgraded than I am. Blue continuing to build cannons everywhere. Yellow's having a chance to reset. Man, what a battle. Alright, here come the Dragoons. They're moving in on these cannons. Trying to get to the thick of the base. They're getting thinned out here. Here come some Zealots to help. They're slowly and steadily thinning them out. Here comes White. White finally getting some units back out on the field. Could it be enough that these Zealots are just going to be wailing on these Dragoons? But the Dragoons are about to be 3-3s. And I believe carriers are on their way. Yes, they are. Man, Brown's playing a tremendous game. JCAC. More cannons coming in from blue. Alright, now yellow. Pushing in on me. So that kind of cuts off the supply that could help blue. Blue is holding this off with cannons. Meantime, yellow preparing to... He just wants to stop me doing anything. Dab just leaves. I don't know why that guy left. I don't know why he would leave then. It wasn't if he was under attack. Alright, so here comes red, or here comes yellow. There are a lot of Zealots here. They're at 3 attack now. So those upgrade advantages should probably take those out pretty quickly. Yes, they do, but there are a few Dark Templar here that are just swailing away on the Zealots. This guy's continuing to build as many cannons as he can. I don't know why he's not building some Zealots to mix everything in. Alright, here comes a big stream of Zealots to go attack these 3-3 Dragoons. Only got ones on the plasma shields. They're doing a good job of doing what they need to do. Alright, in the meantime, Brown getting his carrier fleet ready. So amazing to go from 3-2 and just somehow not be able to figure it out. White just getting destroyed by those Dark Templar. That's all it took. Meantime, yellow getting up starports. He's getting ready to move to the next phase of the game. I'm just going straight Zealot. So that's all I know. This guy continuing to build cannons. Now he's finally rebuilding his infrastructure. It can only be bad when you finally see that the assault is over. So let's go ahead and sort of speed things up, because you know eventually someone's going to move. Brown looking just absolutely unstoppable. Look at that infrastructure. All the tech, all the gateways, all the starports. We can take a little bit better look at it over here. I mean, really nicely done. I mean, look at his base. Cannons supporting all 3 of the nexuses. Really good stuff. Alright, so here is Brown attacking me. Ooh, here's some Reavers. Interesting little addition to the squad. Certainly should be good against Dragoons. And the Zealots pushing out pretty strongly against them. It's the Dark Templar that are going to make the difference, but Brown does have... Oh, it's Brown that has the observer here. I'm too busy building Reavers to think about the Dark Templar. They might get killed by some of the splash damage, to be quite honest. Oh, and here they are getting attacked by the Dark Templar. Great job of him. Tide-turning Reavers are going to be destroyed. And I do a good job of pushing out against yellow. So you got to feel pretty good there, but Brown just getting this carrier army ready. In the meantime, these Dark Templar probably just screw around a little bit until they're in the range of the cannons. Yep. Here come a bunch more. They're trying to stay out of range. They're trying to do something, but they're not going to be able to get in anywhere. There's a couple of observers coming in. They're just sitting here. He's trying to do something with them, but he can't quite figure out what that is. So I think he just backs them out. These Reavers could really make a big difference here. If I can get some observers over top of them, that's where I really think the difference will be made. Alright, so blue, all these Dragoons are going down. He doesn't have any upgrades on his units, despite all of that infrastructure he built earlier. That's really been the one of the differences, especially when you're going against someone that's the same as you. You really want to make sure you get all those upgrades up. So I have 3 3s, but Plasma Shield's only on a 1. Yellow didn't have barely any upgrades, but Brown, I believe, is fully upgraded on his units. And here come the carriers with an Arbiter and an Observer. This is going to be bad, bad news. For, I am getting some Corsairs ready, so those could be helpful, but this is going to be bad, bad, bad for blue. He's pretty well prepared for it, though, at the moment. So, alright. Here comes the carriers. Dragoons and cannons are there to take out these observers or interceptors. Alright, he decides to leave from that angle. I decide it's time to attack Brown, but I get stopped by Yellow. Oh, that was a bad choice by me. Alright, so observers. I do have an observer now in case there's Dark Templar, but it looks like he's going mainly Dragoons. And took those out with relative ease. In the meantime, the attack on Brown did not really work all that well. But I'm deciding that that's the route I want to go. I just want to put a lot of pressure on this guy. Not allow him to do anything with those carriers. The carriers are just sitting there, though. If he wanted to do something with them, he could. Oh, he said he's doing a couple of storms in on these guys just to make sure that he's safe. Here comes some more pressure, though, and Reavers. Oh, he's going to come in on me. That's probably going to be the end. Alright, so I'm getting these supplementary cannons here. But I don't think it's going to make much difference at all. Oh, man. So Dragoons are coming out right at the right time. But the Reavers doing some damage to these cannons. Oh, and he storms them. Really, really nice job by Brown. This guy played really, really well. Here come the carriers. The Dragoons trying their best to attack the interceptors, but there's just not enough cannon support. Really good job by him to sort of like change up where he wanted to go. Alright, these Corsairs are attacking the carriers, but just not doing nearly enough damage. Alright, the Dragoons trying to stop. Oh, they got the Arbiter, so that'll help. Oh, here's Yellow with a big fleet of carriers as well. Oh my gosh. The carriers just close the show and end the day. And a 3v2 is somehow thwarted by some Dark Templar. That is crazy. And that is game, folks. Wow. Really, really nice job by, particularly by Brown. I mean, his switch to Dark Templar was that was like the, you know, completely the changing factor in that one. Alright, so that's probably it. So that I go down. I can't imagine it was too long before Blue joined him. But pretty good game. Again, you can't be too cocky in those 3v2 situations, and you've got to get detectors, especially if you're a Protoss. But really, just in general, you just got to get detectors up there because a few lurkers and a few Dark Templar can really change up the game for you. But anyways, thank you for joining me. I'll try to get, again, going to be working to get as many of these out as I can. I only have about 40 or 30 or 40 left, so I'm really pumping them out at a pretty good pace. But anyways, thanks for joining me on this one, and I'll catch you on the next replay.